Hello and welcome to the Hamkid episode 3. I'm the Hamkid Sam Reynolds, KM4WDK, and today we're going to talk about public service and what I've learned through my ham radio public service experiences. First, I'd like to thank all the new subscribers. If you didn't see, I did a video on ham radio. I did a video with Gary and David from Ham Radio Now, KN4AQ, and W0DHG. That was pretty awesome. If you haven't seen it, go over to Gary's channel, Ham Radio Now. It's episode 333, the Hamkid. I'll put a link to that in the description. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, I'd just like to ask you to subscribe so that we can get this show to more people on the internet. So yeah, I may be co-hosting a few episodes of Ham Radio Now, sometime in the future. They asked me if I wanted to do that. Okay, so let's get talking about what this episode is going to be all about. As I said, we're going to talk about public service and what I've learned through public service with ham radio. So first of all, I have my highly reflective Aries hat, and if I can get it from over here, I should have had this out. I have my radio vest. I think I'm going to be doing the Tour de Cure here in Charlotte in a few months, September 31st, I want to say. So that's going to be fun. And then so what have I already done in public service? I've done 3 events, one last October, one last December, and one this April. Those 3 events were, the one in October was the CF Cycle for Life event here in Charlotte, or around Charlotte. That was a really fun one. I'm going to name each of the ones I've done and then tell you about what I learned through them and what I did in them. So yeah, I'll probably be doing a video of the Tour de Cure. So watch out for that in September. See if I can actually get a video out between now and then. Sorry for the long pause between the videos. I've been away for a while, and I just don't have very many ideas. Okay, so the next, so I feel like I did pretty well in the CF event. I operated as a rest stop station, rest stop 6, and I think we had about 8 people come through our rest stop. We were at the end. We were the very last rest stop, and we were only on the 65-mile route, and it was a very cold and very windy day, so as you can imagine, not many people came by, and not many did. Pretty much that was a really fun thing. That was, just so you know, like public service and emergency communications is really what got me into ham radio, so I really want to try and do as much of that as I can. I think I did pretty well. One thing I learned was how how you should do net control. This is rest stop 6. Let the repeater drop. Usually we do use repeaters. And then net control will say rest stop 6, go ahead. And then you go on with your message. You don't just do net control, this is rest stop 6, and your message. Such as so. Let's talk about what I did in this in this event. So as I said, I was working at rest stop, and basically my job was to announce when riders came through. So we knew how far along the race was and about when it would end. Yep. And then we didn't have much problem with this because, of course, no one came through our rest stop. I was also tasked with making sure net control knew what we needed, and I was also there as a liaison between the directors of the event, because there was a ham with the director in a car that would go around the event. So I helped serve as a liaison between that director and the rest stop volunteers, so that we had a direct line of communication if anything went wrong or we needed to know any information. I also one of my duties was to tell the net control when we if anyone had an injury that needed to be treated, we could get an ambulance or a rescue team or anything or any other medically trained personnel to come and attend to that victim if they needed it. So the next event was the Concord Christmas Parade, the Concord, North Carolina Christmas Parade. I think I've been getting a little bit of the hiccups, so sorry about that. So what was I going to say? So I worked at a tactical stop, so I didn't really do much in this one, mostly because I had an older ham with me and he did a lot of stuff. One thing I learned, this is not necessarily related to ham radio and public service, but if you're ever wearing a vest, like a traffic vest, or any other thing that designates you as some sort of employee of the event or volunteer for the event, you will not get any candy. There were floats passing out candy, and I didn't get a single piece of candy just because I was wearing a bright vest. Discrimination. So I was a little mad about that, but yeah. So one of the things I had to do was, at some of the floats had like acts, I guess, and they had to be judged at a certain spot. So I was supposed to help, just stop, do not go further right now. We have someone doing an act up here, and we need to make sure they have their space to do it, and the parade doesn't get too cluttered. That was another thing we had to do, was make sure the parade didn't get too cluttered. There's about 50 to 100 yards of space between each float. It may have been less than that, maybe it was 25 to 50, but we were supposed to maintain a good amount of space between each float so it didn't get too cluttered. This was a long event too. It was 5 hours, I think, in December, the 23rd of December. It was pretty late in December, and it was really cold outside. That was another thing. Always bring jackets, because you never know what the weather's going to be. The first 2 events I ever did were freezing outside. So now I always bring multiple jackets to every event I do. And other than these two, I only have one more, but still gonna keep it a habit. But yeah, this was a long event. I did not think it was gonna be so long. By the end, when Santa came through on his foot, you couldn't even see him. It was so dark outside. So, yep. This was, I feel like I did pretty good, of course. And another thing was, there were street vendors and they were supposed to have a pass. So, part of our job, because we were the only real parade officials on the streets, other than the float people who weren't really officials. So we were supposed to make sure those vendors had the proper identification and authorization to sell their stuff, and if they didn't, we told them to go away, and if they stayed, we were supposed to radio net control, tell them, and they would send the police. Yes, they would send the police. And so, what else did we have? Oh yeah. So this was my most recent event. This was in April. That was a long time ago. It's already, what month is it? It's like the 7th month. This was like the 4th month. It was only 3 months ago. Time is starting to go by so fast. But yeah, this was a walk/run. This one was probably one of the most fun events. Not sure why. Probably because it had the most enjoyable weather, and I was actually doing stuff the whole time on the radio. Didn't learn anything in this one, but I did a lot. So this one I also operated rest stop 1 out of 2. We actually got more traffic than rest stop 2, which is kind of, we were rest stop 1 on the 3-mile route and rest stop 2 on the 6-mile route. So we were there for 3 hours. Not bad. It was actually it was a good amount of time. I want a long event where I'm just out there all day. That would be really fun. Just in good weather, 75 degrees. I just want that event to come up. With my radios, perfect setup, all my stuff. That'd be pretty fun for me. But yeah, so we had 2, I'll call them situations, that I'm going to tell you about. The first one was the volunteer situation. This happened before the race even started. There was 10 volunteers at Rest Stop 1, and there was no one except for my other ham at Rest Stop 2. And so, what happened in this situation was we had to coordinate, and I was doing a lot of coordination for this, for both of these events, for both of these situations. I made sure that everyone was, what was I going to say? I tried to get some of my volunteers, I think there were 5 of them, over to Rest Stop 2 in a van. I was trying to get the van there and sort out getting them over there. And this one, we were also kind of a liaison. This one had really bad communication between the actual event officials and the hams and rest stops. That was kind of a catastrophe, because it was hard to make sure the van got there, and in the second situation, it was hard to get water. And so we were running out of water in the second situation, and so we needed another jug of water, but they ran out, so we couldn't get the van there. And then they were going to go to the store. I'm not totally sure what happened. This was a lot of a lack of communication that we could have avoided. We should have had someone with the directors of the event to serve it, to help get information to and from them. That would have been a great help. So we really needed that. And then we had the we were kind of trying to coordinate getting water from rest stop 2 or some other source down to rest stop 1 where I was. So like right as we ran out of water, we finally got a shipment on the SAG vehicle, support and gear vehicle, from rest stop 2, their extra water, because they had already closed down and secured their rest stop, to come down to us, which was really good. But we were like running water everywhere. That was but yep. Yeah, I try. So I think that's gonna be all. I'll probably do some more videos on different things of public service as I think of the topics that I need to cover, I want to cover, I can cover. So this is actually my third attempt at filming this video. So yeah, I've tried filming twice. Another time, both of those didn't work. Or no, this is my fourth attempt, because the Hamkid episode from Ham Radio Now was also supposed to be my episode 3, but that didn't work out either. So I think I'm going to end the video here. 7-3, thanks for watching. Over and out. KM4WDK. Oh wait, one more thing. Go check out Ham Radio Now and the Phasing Line podcast. Gary K4AQ and David W0DHD. They're from Ham Radio Now. And then the Phasing Line podcast. Marty and Sterling. KC1CWF, Chicken with Fries. And then NOSSC, I think, is his Sterling's call sign. Yeah, that makes sense. Sterling S. Coffee. Yeah. I actually have a pretty good at figuring out vanity call signs. But yeah, 7-3, over and out. KM4WDK. Thanks for watching. Come back next time.